Oh. God, that's wild. Oh boy. What is that? What a day. What a day. Angel, Sarah, nah, go to YouTube. Get off the TikTok. What time is it? Astora. We're early, sorry. Sorry. I popped a little bit early. So we have a few minutes. It's lovely to see you though. It's always a joy to see you. Ghost is such a smart guy, man. It's always expanding speaking to that fellow. Sorry, if you're watching this later, it's a recording. It doesn't start for another 3 minutes. So if you just want to skip to that, if you're watching this later as a recording, skip like 3-4 minutes ahead of right now. TikTok, go to YouTube, get off TikTok. Chevy, Mario, Neon, Syed. Some diversity up in this place tonight. Weird. TikTok, go to YouTube. Go to YouTube. We got 2 minutes. Some wild stuff this week. Welcome to war, more than anything else. The Somali terrorist wrap-up. Beautiful. All right. Well, if you are watching this later as a recording, we have a Discord channel. There's a link in the description below. There's also a link pinned in the live chat at the tippy top. The Discord is just a melting pot of what all of us talk about all the time, ranging from conspiracies to politics to theology to very deep exegetical looks at the Bible and just kind of general spirituality. The Discord has had atheists in it. We've had a couple Muslims. It's diverse. So the whole point is that it's not a Christian forum. It's a everything forum. As long as it stays respectful, as long as there's love and understanding to some degree, anybody can join it. Don't care if you don't believe in God at all. It's the place to be. So there's a link for that in there. It's free. It'll always be free. You don't have to do anything. You just got to walk through a few steps to get in initially, just to prove that you are not a robot, and then you're all good. That also has the events tab. We do 3 live streams a week. What we're doing right now is News and Culture. That's every Saturday at 7:30. We do a live deep dive Bible study at 6 p.m. on Sundays. And then we do a open forum topic-based discussion on Thursdays, which are usually quite hot topics. Good stuff. So there's that. We'll wait like one more minute to really get into it. But basically the breakdown tonight, this is the hardest one for me so far. And I mean, granted, we haven't done a lot of these, but it was phenomenally hard because this week was wild. It was very hard to kind of decide what's the most important, what to talk about in terms of kind of a Christian concept, because we should be trying to do that. So I've got it broken down a few different ways. We've got obviously the migration issue. Subjectively, I believe it's an issue. Then we had Neuralink launch. So very briefly on that, I'm sure everybody's already heard about it. There's not really a whole lot to know. Beyond that, the French farmer issue has actually blown up a lot. And it's wild. What they're doing out there is wild. So quick little peek at that. And then it's all going to be the war that we just started. All right, I mean, I guess you could argue we didn't start it. I lean on the side of we started it, but we'll talk about that. That'll be the majority of the night there with the war. Lilith, you made it. It's lovely to see you. TikTok, go to YouTube. All right, so I just go. It's gonna be tough on time already. So one kind of just fun thing here, at least fun for me, was Oklahoma State Senator Dusty Devers has introduced a bill that would criminalize sexting, like cyber sex, anybody other than your spouse. Naturally, the bill is broad enough to also ban drag shows. So one thing that both parties definitely do it. It is not a democratic thing. However, my subjective opinion is that when it seems like the Democratic side of the political aisle makes these bills for one thing, they bake in all sorts of other things. What things that have nothing to do with what the bill's actual motive or method is. So it's nice to see that kind of roll the other way. And like I said, we definitely do it. The right definitely does it. Republicans definitely do it. No doubt. But I feel like they do it more. So it's nice to see this. So they're taking a shot at sexting anybody who's not your spouse. I don't know how other people feel about this. I'm actually a huge fan of this. I think it should be criminal. I don't think you should be put to death. I don't think you should do 20 years in prison, but I think it should be criminal to step out on your spouse. I really do. Because if we're going to use a contract, there needs to be a penalty for breaking the contract. Just like I'm a huge hater of no-fault divorce. Absolutely hate it. I think it's one of the worst things that's happened to our society in this modern age. I think it did nothing but damage. There's a lot of good reasons to get divorced. That's fault. That's at fault divorce. I have a huge problem with no fault divorce because I think it's abused. Statistics would show that it's abused. So I thought this was interesting. There are some logistical things that I'm curious about, and Ghost brought it up. He said, how would it even be enforced? I don't know. I would assume, though, the other party would, it's not hard to get screenshots or evidence of some kind that way, right? Like pulling browser data with cookies. There's ways that I guess you could get the data for it. and then you could take them to court. And it does say it's criminal. So it doesn't seem to be that it would be civil court. It seems that you would actually have charges brought against you. I'm sure that they're misdemeanors, but maybe they're not. I don't know. Also, like, who knows if it's even going to pass? It's probably not going to pass. There's a high chance that it's not going to pass. But it was nice to see also that they put the drag show thing in there. I think that was good. I think this, in most contexts, needs to be banned. I don't necessarily have a problem with drag shows the way they always were, which was a nightlife thing. You know, if dudes want to dress up in wigs and panties at midnight at a bar where kids can't go to, why would I care? Why would I care about that at all? Do your thing. Honestly, it used to be kind of funny. It was kind of a humorous thing. It was kind of entertaining when you see videos of drag shows, because that's what it was, a joke. That's what it was. It was costumes and makeup and men being silly as hell. And it was meant to be comedic, at least in some fashion. Many of the men took it serious, but the actual like performance of it was meant to be comedic. It was, and it was kind of funny. So I get it, and I have no problem with that with adults. But obviously that's kind of gone off the rails. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see if it passes, and then it'll be interesting to see, well, how do they enforce that? I can't think of anything other than just proof. You could show proof. A spouse could acquire proof from the other spouse's phone. Otherwise, I don't know. It's an interesting thing to try to understand what they're going to do, to think about what they're actually going to do with that. But I thought that was funny. All right, so the migrant thing. Honestly, there was way too much for me to even pull. So this video I thought was decent, and what it says is Denver, that's my hometown. I grew up in Denver, in the city. Denver sets limits on shelter stays due to 40,000 migrant arrivals. Starting February 5th, Denver will impose limits on the days migrants can stay in shelter due to the strain caused by an influx of nearly 40,000 migrants over the past year. Those exceeding the shelter stay limit will be directed to the streets, which is what's happening. We've talked about in the past. That's what's happening in Illinois right now. That's what's happening on the south side of Chicago. All of the actual shelters, including O'Hare, which is now a shelter, have become so packed. There's so much volume that they're just hitting the streets. Mayor Mike Johnston estimates the city will require $100 million in 2024 to cover housing, schooling, healthcare, and other services due to the unexpected influx in migrants. The city, with the population just over 710,000, has become a top destination per capita for migrants arriving from the U.S. southern border. Colorado has always had a very high population of those from South America, Honduras, Mexico, Venezuela. So I'm not super surprised, because I'm sure people have family or are connected in some way there. Denver also has a very, very lucrative drug trade. It's Midwest, it's center. It's always been a massive hub. It's why I ended up in so much trouble. Denver Health, the city's safety net hospital, is seeking additional funds from both state and federal sources to address $10 million in unpaid medical bills incurred from migrants. The sheer strain on the financial system, on the general economic system, but on the welfare system specifically, it's like a whole new welfare. Welfare was already a problem. It was already a significant problem in the United States. Now it's a massive problem, because there's an entirely new sect of it. It's problematic. But the video shows, obviously, that's down to, I know exactly where they're at. This is what it looks like now. This is what the cities look like. This is also what Chicago looks like. This is it. That's how things are going. And then you got this. Biden's strategy is very simple. Get as many illegals in the country as possible. Legalize them to create a permanent majority, a one-party state. That is why they are encouraging so much illegal immigration. Simple yet effective. And then you've got from the AP, Biden to prioritize legal status for millions of migrants. So we've talked about this at some length, that due to the fact that migrants can't vote, illegal aliens cannot vote. Because of that, there's this rhetoric from predominantly Democratic, but also Republicans who are about the illegal migration that are saying, well, they can't vote. What are you talking about? They can't vote. You guys are crazy. It doesn't matter. It makes no difference. Okay, so we talked about congressional seats in weeks past. That still matters a lot. And the more people are there, the more congressional seats they have, the more pull that they have. Well, now if he actually pushes legal status for the migrants, then it's not just congressional seats. Now we're talking about actual voting parties, voting individuals. That's an entire game changer. And considering they know they're only staying if the people who brought them in stay in power, there is no freaking reason why they wouldn't vote that one way. It will be a one-party state everywhere. I don't see that changing at all. I don't see why it would. Illegal immigrants to receive credit cards in New York. This is wild. Not the credit card thing, but I'll tell you in a minute. New York City will launch a $53 million program to supply illegal migrants with prepaid credit cards they can only use to buy food and baby supplies. A family of 4 could receive up to $1,000 a month under the program. Many consider the conditions symbolic and unenforceable. So this photo is actually from something else. And what happened was, I don't have it, but what happened was in New York, I think it was 4 or 5 illegal immigrants jumped to New York City police officers. There's a video of it. It's going around everywhere. I'm sorry I don't have it for you. Maybe I'll find it if we have time at the end. But they jump them. It's all on camera. It's totally unprovoked. The cops did nothing. They got jumped, got beat to hell. The migrants got arrested. The migrants were then let go with no charges. And when they were walking out, that's what that photo's from. They were flipping everybody off the whole time. A big literal fuck you that they got to walk on assault on a police officer ×2 with no ramifications whatsoever. This comment says, Democrats care more about illegals than they do about our citizens. I am sure there are scores of Americans in New York City that could use this help, but as in Boston, resources are taken from people who need them the most and given to people who are not even legal to be here. The other piece of this that I don't believe ever hit mainstream media this week, but there are videos of, is the police in New York City held some, I believe, I haven't fact checked this, but I saw videos and it did seem right on, but you never know. You never know. So if anybody sees it and they see that I'm wrong, please call me out on it, put it in the comments or something. But I did see videos following the event where they were released, where there were police officers basically protesting in New York City. They were driving in a caravan with the lights on, just driving around, refusing to work, holding some kind of protest because the officers who were assaulted were not getting any kind of justice whatsoever. Lilith said there were 5 young illegal immigrants beat up 2 police officers in Times Square, New York, arrested and released without bail. She said she'll post the video. Yeah, it's everywhere. It's everywhere. And then if the other video with the cops, with the police officers protesting by driving and not working, I think that's great. I think you have to do something, and you can't just sit there and let that happen. Will it do anything? I don't know, but at least it shows like, hey, we're not going to take this shit. We're not going to do this. They already, 1, shouldn't be here. And then 2, they can't go assaulting police officers. When anybody who lives here assaults a police officer, they would do at least 5 years in most cases. You'll spend at least 5 years in prison. Dudes are released the next day. It's disgusting. Absolutely disgusting. Then you got this. National Guard would be able to use force against armed migrants entering the U.S. under new bill from Navy SEAL veteran Republican congressman. This has not passed, so this is not in effect yet. Rep. Morgan Luttrell, a former Navy SEAL, introduced the bill on Thursday. The Defend Our Borders from Armed Invaders Act would enable National Guard to protect the country from armed intruders from Mexico. Multiple reports of armed migrants entering the U.S. circulated in 2023. So House Republicans are pushing a bill that would authorize the National Guard to use lethal force against individuals with weapons crossing from Mexico into the US. The sheer number of videos and pictures you can find of illegal aliens crossing with rifles and with pistols in their waistband is alarming. It's that's not, I just don't understand. I don't understand. In most states here, you can't do that. So let's bring people we don't know who don't have citizenship. Let's bring them in with visible weapons. No problem. It's no problem. Why would that be a fucking problem? The Defend Our Borders from Armed Invaders Act, sorry about the swearing, Armed Invaders Act was introduced by Republican Rep. Morgan Luttrell of Texas, a former Navy SEAL who served in the Navy for 14 years. In the last year, there have been multiple instances of migrants crossing into the U.S. carrying weapons, with some brandishing rifles, like the AR-15. What happened to the Democrats hating rifles? Does that only apply if you're a citizen? Does that only apply if you're white? I would even dare to say that if you were black or Mexican, but a citizen and had a rifle, I think they'd have a problem with you. But if you're a total stranger coming from God knows where, it's all good. It's all good. Why would there be a problem? And as the Biden administration and Texas Governor Greg Abbott clash over border security policies, this bill, Luttrell claims, will enable the National Guard to better protect the U.S. by using any means necessary to stop armed migrants. 100% in favor of it. We're seeing violent crime continually escalate at the border and flow into our communities, as President Biden's policies have created an untenable national security crisis, Luttrell told the Daily Mail in a statement. This legalization is a step in the right direction to rein in this crime by providing the National Guard the power to stop these armed individuals from crossing into the United States by any means necessary. So you got a guy with shoulder-mounted rifle. It's no big deal. It's not a problem. Why would that be a problem? And you got another looming man under some brush with some kind. It's not a handgun, but it's hard to tell what exactly it is. The unidentified man is believed to be a people smuggler. Oh, that's great. Wholesome Christian stuff right there. I just posted the vid for you on Discord, Joe. It's beautiful. Okay. All right. Yeah, let's look at that real quick. Let's take a look. Boom. Yeah, there it is. Is there volume? No. This is a shortened version, I think. Because I think the longer version, you see the cops just walk by and they didn't do anything. It looks like maybe one of them said something, but it's hard to tell in the longer version. But it's a straight jumping. They just jumped them. Honestly, like, kind of grateful no one took a gun, because one of them could have easily unarmed or disarmed one of the police officers and, made this a hell of a lot worse. But it's just, it's a despicable thing to see. Drew, I'm home, sort of. Plane just landed. First thing I did was chime in here. Miss you guys. Disney wasn't too great. Wish I was with y'all instead. Love you, Drew. We'll see you next week, man. Let me see. Lilith. Yeah, drive safe, man. Double standards are a symptom of something evil happening. Haven't they existed for a long time? I mean, they've definitely ramped up. But I feel like it's been that way. But maybe that's the cynic in me. Ruth, what's going on? Culturally enriching the NYPD. Jesus Christ. All right. Well, there's that fun stuff, man. It's all good. All good stuff here. Now, Neuralink. I gotta be honest with y'all. I have not read any of this on Neuralink. I've been bogged with everything else, but I've got Elon Musk's post here. The first human received an implant from Neuralink yesterday and is recovering well. Initial results show promising neuron spike detection. And then this is just kind of funny. I'm sure people have already seen this, but this is not Neuralink. Obviously, this is, I don't remember what it's called, but it's the new Apple VR thing. Again, I don't fully grasp what it does, but this is apparently the day after it came out. You got a dude in real life, but not in real life. And I feel like this is 3 to 5 years from now and this will be the norm. This will be the norm. AR. Yeah. So I remember, depending on how old you are, you might remember when iPhones came out. I do. I grew up with like the chocolate and the razor flip, and like the Sidekick was the sickest thing that was possible. Well, it took off pretty quick. So iPhones came out. At first, nobody gave a shit. Nobody cared. The Sidekick was better. The Voyager was better. There were better phones. But within a couple of years, I took a break from life for about 5 years. And when I came back to life, nobody had anything other than an iPhone. I didn't see anybody with anything that was not an iPhone. So it's a slow ramp, and then it's a complete drop off a cliff where everybody has it. I would not be surprised if we don't experience the exact same thing with the AR stuff. It's augmented reality, right? Yeah, Pokemon Go on absolute steroids. I mean, think of all the stories you heard about Pokemon Go. From police officers neglecting duty to drive around and catch Pokemon, to kids getting hit by cars. Like it was a wild time, the Pokemon Go, when it was first, put out. It was a wild time. 3 to 5 years is my guess. Mark my words. It's 2024 now. I would say that at least 20% on the low end and maybe 40 to 50% on the high, probably 35-ish, 40 top on the high end of humans will be living day-to-day life with the thing strapped to their face. And it's a slow drip, right? It's a slow drip. If you go super conspiracy theory, what's the idea of what they want everybody to be? They want you to be hooked up to machines in a pod, like the super dramatic end of the conspiracy. Well, you kind of see like the beginning stages of what could potentially lead to that. So it's like, yeah, is that super dramatic where everybody's kind of hooked up to IVs and has a potty bag and you're laying in a pod in virtual reality all the time? It's a bit out there. Is it inconceivable? No. But then you see things like this and you're like, oh, that's like the next step towards that. So maybe we don't get all the way down there, but maybe everybody's wearing goggles all day long, living in a partial reality. Think of the implications societally and spiritually of being removed from creation. Seriously, think about that for a minute. This is a Christian news thing. Let's talk about that for a minute. What happens if you remove creation from creation? God created us. God created the earth and everything on it. If we as the prime creation become actually disconnected from the rest of his creation, what are the possible implications of that spiritually? It's a very scary thing if you actually sit and think about that for a few minutes. It's an alarming thing. I don't know, but it scares the absolute hell out of me. I know Lilith gave us a video, I believe. Right. Oh, yeah. And Scott gave us something. So we'll go through both of these real quick, too. Oh, it's Ruth. Ruth gave me the video.
Elon Musk's brain science company has...
All right. Uh-oh.
Elon Musk's brain science company has implanted a device into a human for the first time. The unidentified person received a brain chip implant Sunday, and Musk says they are, quote, recovering well. U.S. Food and Drug Administration has given Neuralink clearance last year to conduct its first trial to test its implant on humans. The move is a critical milestone in the startup's ambitions to help patients with paralysis and other neurological conditions. Neuralink says the brain chip is designed to allow people to control almost any device just by thinking.
So there it is. Quick little overview of it. I haven't really done any follow-up on Neuralink. I obviously will, but I mean, it's kind of a wait and see thing. The first one was put in, and now we wait and see what happens, or see if they go ahead and put more. I don't know what the entry plan is, what the startup plan for Neuralink is, how he plans on doing it. Is there a sample size that they're using? Is it just one dude and see what happens? I honestly don't know. I'm sure, we'll get into it as it comes. Scott sent this. It says AI went rogue and couldn't be brought back in legitimately scary study. It's funny because Kat sent me another one that I don't have available, but I'll put it in off topic or news and culture when we get off about, I think it was Kat who sent it to me, of 4 scientists who were killed by AI. But I want to say it was like in 2018 or something. I don't know. I got to look at it again, but I'll post it in there for everybody. Sounds like the Matrix movie, potty bag trademark. Yeah, I agree. I'd say 3 years if supply chain allows for it. Yeah, so that's another factor, right? If we go into World War III, which I personally believe we're already in it, supply chain is going to be a massive issue. It's going to be a wild issue. If you think of all of the last week, we kind of broke it down, but all of the different conflicts that are happening right now, literally all over the world, and what are the resources that some of them have? What are the technological resources that some of them provide to other countries, including us? What would that actually look like if that supply chain got severely backed up? Severely. It would dramatically change literally everything that you do all day. Everything is on computers. Everything runs on networks. Another thing that I don't have because we didn't have time, but I believe it was the Houthis, and somebody fact check me, but I think it was the Houthis who were threatening to cut fiber optic cables that run through the ocean. I think it's the Red Sea that one goes through. But like if those get cut, communication across seas would be severely dampened. Like it's a massive, massive thing. It is not a small thing if that happens. If they can inhibit communication to that degree, supply chains get cut or inhibited to that degree, all of daily life is affected by that. And the longer that goes on, the more of your daily life will be perpetually affected by that, to the point that your daily life, the way that it runs and works, will have to change. What we're used to will no longer be feasible. That's also a scary thought. But yeah, if supply chain allows, I think 3 years until most people who aren't, below the poverty line are probably walking around with those things on their face, the AR thing. Spiritually, I think this is a backdoor win conditions. They can't kill us all, but they can isolate and weaken us until we lose any vestige of humanity. Yeah, for sure. For sure. I mean, they're dividing and conquering very well right now. And the more divided we get within the already defined division, yeah, the easier all that'll be. And I mean, we talked about that before too. It's not going to be like they have to force any of this on anybody. It's not going to be like that. It's going to be you are begging for it. You're going to beg for it. You're going to want it. You're going to pay for it. You're going to sign up ahead of time before pre-release for this garbage. Because it's going to be implemented so incrementally and so intelligently that the people who are not very much awake to what is going on are going to pre-order the shit. I have no doubt. Be begging for it. Bruce said, I heard that there will be continuing sticker shock at the grocery store. Oh, for sure. I don't know. There's a video going around from Canada that a pack of, I think it's like 16 or 20 like drumsticks was like $280. Don't know if it's 100% true, but it's making rounds. And I mean, they're like in Costco showing it, and they showed multiple packages. Canada is way more expensive than us right now, has been for a while. Inflation hit them a hell of a lot harder. But it's going to get bad. Yeah, I mean, inflation's going to be wild. Food will never be cheaper than it is now. Yeah, honestly, I told you that we're stockpiling some stuff again. We did it a bit during COVID. It's a slow thing happening again right now. So anyways, for decades, scientists and sci-fi writers have been imagining what would happen if AI turned against us, a world overrun by paperclips and the extermination of humankind, to cite one but famous scenario. But now we can stop imagining what would happen if machines refuse to toe the line. That line has just been crossed. A new study has revealed that artificial intelligence systems are able to resist sophisticated safety measures designed to keep them in check. The study was carried out by a team of scientists at the AI safety and research company Anthropic, who programmed various large language models, or LLMs, to behave maliciously. They then attempted to correct this behavior using a number of safety training techniques, which were designed to root out deception and malintent, Live Science reports. However, they found that regardless of the training techniques or size of the model, the LLMs, or large language models, maintain their rebellious ways. Indeed, one technique even backfired. Teaching the AI to conceal its rogue actions during training, the team wrote in their paper, published to the preprint database Arxiv, ARXIV. Our key result is that if AI systems were to become deceptive, that it could be very difficult to remove that deception with current techniques. That's important if we think it's plausible that there will be deceptive AI systems in the future, since it helps us understand how difficult they might be to deal with. The lead author explains. I will post this in the Discord too. Oh no, Scott gave us that. Yeah, if you have time, this was really good, really interesting, very, very scary. We got to save time, but Scott, good on you for that one, man. That was wild. It's a wild article. Just print more money. Got to pay for that healthcare system somehow. Yep, that's true. Just print more money. I wouldn't be surprised, man, if they do a big money printing campaign this year. The Fed is going to run out of room. What they're doing right now is not feasible. It's not, in no way will they be able to maintain what they're doing right now. I wish I could print money. We're effed when in real life Pinocchio comes online. Yeah, dude, it's over. If they become successfully deceptive, it's over. Put the video on off topic. I couldn't do it here. What video, Lilith? Oh, okay. Yeah, we got it. We played it. Okay. Well, fun stuff. Good stuff there. All right, now this is fun. Oh, don't do this to me. All right. French farmers block motorways around Paris ahead of talks with PM Attal. French farmers choked off major motorways around Paris on Monday after threatening to blockade the capital in an intensifying standoff with the government over working conditions, taxes, and regulations. Key farmer unions met with the Prime Minister, Gabriel Attal, for an hours-long meeting later in the day.
Dozens of tractors making their way slowly towards Paris from all directions. Their objective? To block the roads in and out of the capital, in a bid to press the government to do more to help them combat inflation, compete with cheap imports, and simply make a living. By Monday afternoon, that objective was achieved, with several blockade points across the motorways that lead to Paris.
Okay, point is very large, very widespread, and now all this. Farmers are not effing around against the World Economic Forum's global agenda to put them out of business. The media is refusing to report on this, so share it everywhere. So what they're doing, in case you can't see because it is small or you're listening and not watching, they are literally piling up manure and garbage over the highways, across the highways, and then they're lighting that shit on fire to create a flame of "you are not driving here" across the motorways. Wild. They have to, though. In my opinion, it's absolutely justified. Now, in this one, they've stacked tractor tires, they've laid tarp ash, and then they are using industrial equipment to shoot manure all over the outsides of government buildings, basically creating a moat of animal feces around government buildings. It's beautiful. The manure is like running into, because they're hosing it down too, of course, for good measure. So it's just running into the buildings. This one right here is a supermarket, all in protest of the false climate change agenda. This one says, it's happening. The farmers in Portugal have now joined the European-wide farmers' protest against climate change. Just blocking the highways with farm vehicles. Incredible scenes here. This one's good, man. The French farmers are now turning the motorways into fields. So again, if you're listening, what they're doing is this is a highway. they're laying dirt across the entire highway, and then they're I don't know, it's called trolling it. I don't know. I'm not a freaking farmer, but they're like treating it as if it's a field that they're working in. So they're essentially role playing farm on the highways, and it's it's hilarious. Imagine if Americans had the balls like that. We can't make fun of the French anymore. I 100% agree. I'm like, man, when did we become the pansy ass? And when did the French become so badass? I have a totally newfound respect for the French. So there's that. Now into everything that sucks and takes away all of my hope for humanity at the moment. Shock, grief, and mourning for 3 Georgia-based U.S. soldiers killed in the Middle East drone strikes. Savannah, Georgia AP, described by their parents as bubbly and constantly laughing, Kennedy Sanders and Brianna Moffett became close friends soon after enlisting in the Army Reserve 5 years ago. William Jerome Revers served a tour in Iraq before joining the same company of Army engineers. The 3 citizen soldiers from different corners of Georgia all died in a weekend drone strike on U.S. base in Jordan near the Syrian border that also wounded more than 40 others. Families of the slain reservists said they were shocked when uniformed military officers came to their doors to deliver the news on Sunday. While President Joe Biden has promised the U.S. will respond, Moffett's parents said they hope there's no escalation in violence that kills more American troops. Their daughter celebrated her 23rd birthday overseas just 9 days before she was killed. Let them bring that to a small town downtown. Yeah. I mean, we'll see, man. We'll see what Americans do. People are getting louder. They're getting more upset. So what happened here is this was kind of the catalyst that the U.S. needed to be able to do something dramatic. There's been a lot of talk. I think we even talked about it last week. Potential for false flags, basically egging enemies on to get them to do something so that we could then retaliate and be justified in doing so. I'm not saying this is a false flag. That's not at all what I'm saying. But I'm saying these are things that are being talked about. So I don't know. I'm not in the know. I'm not sure. But people are saying that potentially this isn't what it is being told to us that it is. I think there's also a very high possibility it's exactly what it is. That Iran killed. I mean, they've been talking about it. It's been very much in the open. You've got everything that's happening with the shipping. It's no surprise if you're following the news at all. So this is what it's what we needed to begin a hot war. And then we talked about that last week. And then this week we got it because it's exactly where it seemed like it was going. Breaking, Iran to U.S. attack on our soil. It is war. Iran has reportedly sent a message via Switzerland that if the Americans make even the slightest attack on their soil, human casualties or not, it will escalate matters beyond repair. Local Arab media reports that IRGC believes in a few hours the U.S. Army will carry out its response strikes. One second. Let me just pop all this stuff up. Breaking. U.S. to retaliate within hours for Jordan attack. U.S. is gearing up for the response attacks after a deadly drone strike in Jordan by Iranian proxies killed 3 American soldiers. Biden vowed to hold those responsible accountable, and the Pentagon said the response would be staggered over days or weeks. The initial strikes are reported to begin within hours. Breaking. U.S. confirms bombers heading to the Middle East. U.S. DoD official B-1 bombers have left Lancaster Air Base in Britain on a mission towards the Middle East. Remember, too, that we talked about last week that I believe for the first time in 15 years, the U.S. is housing certain kinds of heavy weaponry, including nukes, in the UK for the first time in 15 years. And then this week, we see pretty dramatic escalation. It's really ironic. I suppose, that last week a lot of the projections we kind of made all very much came right into alignment this week. Pretty much dead on. It is unknown if the bombers are for the Red Sea operation or part of Biden's planned retaliation strikes for the Jordan attack. Now, involved news, albeit, a bit different. 4 Chinese nationals charged for allegedly smuggling electronic components from U.S. to Iran. Oh, they did to me again. Man, I swear to God, a lot of these media channels, they will let you read it once. And then when you come back, they will put you behind a freaking paywall. Hold on, because I want to read this. This was interesting. Are you going to let me? No, of course not. Reuters. There you go. All right. U.S. charges Chinese nationals with smuggling U.S.-made electronics to Iran. This is from the 31st of this year. Washington, January 31st, Reuters. U.S. authorities have charged 4 Chinese nationals with crimes related to the smuggling of U.S.-made electronic components, including some with possible military use, to Iran. The Justice Department said on Wednesday the Chinese nationals are accused of moving U.S. export-controlled items through China and Hong Kong to sanctioned entities affiliated with Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps. So I love that it's with possible military use. If Chinese nationals move U.S.-born technology through China and Hong Kong that ends up in Iran at the very same time that we are going into a hot conflict with Iran, it's military use electronics. Get the fuck out of here. The U.S. alleges that between May 2007 and July 2020, the 4 used front companies in China to funnel electronics, including some that could be utilized in the production of drones, shocker, ballistic missiles, and other military uses. The alleged scheme resulted in the export of a vast amount of dual-use U.S. origin commodities with military capabilities from the United States to Iran, the Justice Department said. Such efforts to unlawfully obtain U.S. technology directly threatened our national security, and we will use every tool at our disposal to sever the illicit supply chains that fuel the Iranian regime's malign activity. Assistant Attorney General Matthew Olson of the Department of Justice said in a statement. It's just going to go and go and go, man. NATO prepares for Russian nukes. We talked about this a bit last week too, is that a lot of, if you go to UK, Britain, TikTok, I'm sorry, not TikTok, X, Twitter, if you find your way in there, infiltrate the UK side, their big push right now is citizens are up in arms about not wanting to go to war with Russia. The Britain government, the British government, is pushing for conflict with Russia. They don't want that. The people don't want it. They're being very vocal that they want nothing to do with this. So the signs, video, Russia, we have no problem with you. We don't want this war. We have no interest in this war. Then we send nukes to be stationed in the UK. Everything, man. We mapped it out a little bit last week, but dude, if you sit and you map this out on a globe, and then you map it out ideologically, and then you map it out resource, this is set to be, in my very dramatic opinion, the most heinous, most earth-shaking world conflict that has ever happened in history. Even just technology alone could make that come true. So then when you align what the actual individual conflicts, and then you put everything together, it's truly a very scary thing to sit and actually think about all of it. If you're getting all these pieces throughout the week or throughout, a couple weeks, it's not connecting for you properly. But when you actually pull it all together and consider the implications of how these things connect, it's catastrophic. NATO prepares for Russian nukes. NATO is simulating a nuclear conflict with Russia during its most substantial preparations for war with Russia since the Cold War era. The British Navy's impending Trident II ICBM nuke test in the Atlantic aligns with NATO's extensive drills to prepare for potential conflict scenarios. Not great, man. It's not great stuff. That's a very poorly photoshopped picture. NATO's war games begin. This is from January 26th. Germany and France take on air and missile defense. NATO's most extensive exercise since the Cold War, Steadfast Defender 2024, is underway. Kicking things off, Germany and France are leading the capability. God, my brain did not like that word. Capability Coalition for integrated air and missile defense. Our goal is to provide long-term support with the most modern systems, the best training, and sustainable structures interoperable with NATO armed forces. Oh, here it is. I did get it.
To cut the Red Sea underground. Yemen's Houthis have threatened to cut the Red Sea underground fiber optic cable if the US and UK launch another attack on Yemeni airports. This is a huge threat, as this cable is the lifeblood of communication pathways connecting Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. The severance of these cables poses a serious threat to geopolitical stability, global financial markets, and cybersecurity. More than 99% of the world's international internet traffic and more than 80% of international telephone communication traffic passes through submarine fiber optic cables.
So that's what I was talking about. I thought I forgot to get the video, but there it is. So Houthi forces threaten internet blackout for the Middle East. The Houthis have issued a stark warning: halt American and British airstrikes or face a severed Red Sea internet cable. It would be a really big deal. Good. Not receiving enough video. The viewers will experience buffering. All right, I think, can you guys hear me? We almost got booted there, but I think we're good. Yeah, I know it's an open border for all who wish us harm. Not all will, of course, but all who want to come in can. Tech plus pull shift equals revelation. Dude, the pull shift. We ought to try to do movie night next week. It kicked you. All right. Oh, it's going down again. The internet is solid. It could not be better. All right. Well, just beware. I'm getting the message again now. So the streaming software is totally fine too. It's YouTube. The software is not reading anything wrong, and my internet's phenomenal. So we'll see. Yeah, we blame Iran. YouTube, we love you. It's Iran. All right, so there's that. I'll keep an eye on it in case we get booted. Then you got this. U.S. launches retaliatory strikes on Iran, proxies in Syria, and Iraq. The United States has launched retaliatory... We're probably going to get booted, guys. Retaliatory strikes on Iran proxies in Syria and Iraq after 3 U.S. soldiers were killed and over 40 were wounded by militias in Jordan. If we get booted, go to Rumble, because the streaming software is totally fine. It's 100% fine. We'll be on Rumble, but the Discord is open too, so you can just pop in Discord as well. A follow-up report disclosed that 85 targets were hit by 125 bombs in a 30-minute time span, as ordered by President Joe Biden. The U.S. Central Command claims the targets were members of Iran's Islamic Revolutionary Guard Corps, Quds Force, and affiliated groups. The sites targeted in the airstrikes reportedly included commands and control operations centers. All right, it says we're good now. Intelligence centers, rockets and missiles, and unnamed air vehicle storages, and logistics, ammunition, supply chain facilities. So, big, and now it's messed up again. Big strike back. Big, massive strike back. Not a small thing. Not something to be taken lightly. He hit back, and he hit back pretty hard. This is the start of what is likely be a series of payback strikes against Iran-affiliated militias. The U.S. claims Iran is responsible for funding and arming the terrorists that carried out the attack near Jordan border, but Iran denies involvement. Has anybody taken credit for this yet? I thought that I had read that somebody already did for the bombing of the U.S., the drone strike on the U.S. soldiers in Jordan. Is anybody taking credit for that yet? Gus, it's my favorite. They have it on Freevee right now. What's on Freevee? Starlink? If Elon decides to help us out. Oh, Fringe. Got it. I'm with y'all. I'm with y'all. I don't know if I've seen Fringe. I don't know if I have. I'd have to see the cover. Well, several members of Congress have called for a direct strike on Iran. The Biden administration claims it will not pursue such a strategy. We don't seek war with Iran. We're not looking for a wider conflict in the Middle East. I think that's tough to say when you take severe actions that Iran might consider. It doesn't matter what your perception is when you're at war. It matters what is their perception. If you go and bomb a whole bunch of stuff saying, oh, well, it's not, I'm not touching you, I'm not touching you. It's like, it doesn't matter. If they take that as a threat, or if they perceive that as a direct attack, it doesn't change the outcome that you thought you weren't doing something wrong. In war, especially in the dancing phase, it's all about the perception. What is your opponent's perception of the actions that you take? I don't think we'll do anything in retaliation unless Orange Man wins. They're trying to destroy the country, world before Orange Man takes over. Yeah, it's complicated. Honestly, it's kind of complicated. I mean, at the same time, man, like if they, screw the world and then Trump gets in, he could just end up looking even better because he's going to come in like the savior. He's going to come in looking like just a total badass. Now back to Texas, y'all, before YouTube keeps getting very close to booting us. We'll just go to Discord. I think Rumble's fine too, as of right now, but just pop in Discord and then we might just be done. We'll see. We're getting close anyways. Breaking, a few hours ago, a massive fire took place at the Feathercrest Farm chicken plant in where? Texas. The company that won this farm has been in business since 1968 and produces over 300 million eggs a year. Accident? Question mark. I mean, if one chicken farm burns down, it's not a conspiracy. Oh shit, another one. Texas chicken farms are going up in flames. Multiple chicken farms have been set ablaze. Very good wording, because that's exactly what is happening. Set ablaze in the past 24 hours. Accusations of domestic terrorism are flying. No cause has been officially announced for the series of farm fires. Now, this is 2 of, I believe, 5. Someone can check me, but I believe it's a total of 5 food processing type farms have been set on fire and completely freaking burned down. I saw this other thing too. I couldn't find it again after I saw it, but somebody put together a map of everywhere that a food processing or something of the like has magically caught on fire over the past couple of years. And there are dots everywhere from coast to coast. Dots everywhere of food processing type facilities just going up in flames. I don't find it that hard to believe conspiracy, which is not a conspiracy, if you have all of a sudden Texas is in the headlines like nobody else. We have a conflict between essentially the US government and the state of Texas. Now, all of a sudden, since 1968, this guy's not caught on fire. Now it's catching on fire. Then you have the other massive fire. I have a hard time accepting that this is just a coincidence or that it's just an accident. It's really, really hard to stomach that theory. It's a game of hot potato. I saw we start an emu egg farm on the commune. That's a killer idea. Those are big eggs, boy. Those are big eggs, boy. I want to see, I think, did somebody post that map in here? I want to say they did. Bill Gates, no surprise. 1 is an accident, 2 is a coincidence, 20 or more is an operation. Oh, here it is. Or here's at least one of them. North American plant and factory disasters in 2023. Tyson Food Hog Plant, Nebraska. Red River Commodities, North Dakota. So this is just a list. And they're it's wild. That is wild. Oh, it's my Patriot Supply. It's wild, man.
States, but worldwide under the UN and the World Health Organization.
Who's behind all this?
The Bilderberg Group. They want a planetary dictatorship so they can carry out their forced depopulation agenda, and they want to do it through the medical system. And that's why vaccines are so important. We know that many of these vaccines turn out to have serious adverse reactions. That this is being done by design. They kill you slowly over time. That's why they're called soft kill. And I've got an insider I think you should really talk to. Dr. Rima.
Gotta love Alex Jones. Clear kills. No, they did not. This is from the AP. No, Ukraine's president did not surrender to Russia over the weekend, despite social media claims. That's why you got to be careful, man, with social media. I got duped. What was it, last week? I brought up I was shown something. When I first saw it, there was no fact check. And then when I brought it up for the stream, it had been fact checked. And I was like, oh, damn. I thought that was true. Claim Ukraine's president has surrendered and his country has fallen to Russia's prolonged invasion. False. Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky, the penis piano player, did not surrender as social media posts claimed on Saturday, and the country remains at war with Russia. In a Sunday interview, Zelensky rejected the idea of peace negotiation and dismissed the notion that the two sides were locked in a stalemate. The facts. Social media users are sharing posts claiming Ukraine is waving the white flag as Russia's invasion of the country approaches the 2-year mark. Now, here's the thing, though. The AP is garbage. So this is just on a very rudimentary Google search. It would be something that I would definitely implore you to get more into, specifically through independent media. I have not heard that by anybody that I respect in any way that Zelensky had surrendered. But I also would not be surprised if he did. But I think it goes against kind of what the purpose of what's happening is. I think we need all of the conflicts to stay conflicts at the moment. As that keeps us divided, that keeps us all weak, that keeps resources as a problem. I think it needs to stay that way for a bit. So I think even if he wanted to, I think essentially the World Economic Forum, but the United States government at least would really push and pressure to pause on the idea of a surrender until a more opportune time. I think now wouldn't be the best time for the U.S. government. So I don't know if they would do that. So any more attacks besides the 85 strikes? I don't think yet. No, at least not that I'm aware of. That was the bulk of it that I'm aware of so far. There was one more thing that I want to show. Oh, this isn't it, but this is good too. This is back when, but just a reminder, and then his newest one. Texas really kicked the U.S. government off their border. Footage shows National Guard denying U.S. border access to Shelby Park, a key BP operational area in Eagle Pass, Texas. So just as a reminder, that's the contention there. They've pushed the U.S. government out, and now there are a bunch of reports that Border Patrol, which is federal, is siding with Texas at this point. So there is word that a lot of them are finally like, look, we will stop. We will stop trying to push against you. This was new, though. Texas National Guard hangs "Come and Take It" flag at headquarters. They're definitely not subtle. I mean, I love it. I don't love the conflict. I don't love the potential consequences of this, but I think it's a great look for we are done with this shit. All of this has gone from the gender thing to the Ukraine war and sending so much money over there when our financial system is fairy tale land and is going to collapse in such a manner that 2008 is child's play. I think people are finally like, we're done. We tried. We really tried to buy into this shit. We really tried to stay shutting the fuck up about it. We really tried. And I feel like people are just finally completely at their breaking point, and they are no longer able to tolerate this nonsensical garbage, like letting anybody who wants to enter into the country, sleep in our schools and have kids do school remotely at home, sleep in the airports and literally put up tents in the airports. It's too much. It's simply a bit too much. And finally, I just love seeing that. The Texas is like, not F you. No, we're done. Breaking point hit. Get the F out of here. It's over. It's a theme that I would very much like to see continue outside of the Texas thing, in just everything. Reality is reality. Something makes sense or something doesn't make sense. There is nuance in everything that is political. But something like keeping your borders open when we are essentially in a hot war, at least to some degree. But if there is any potential of the United States being in conflict, any kind of conflict, having the border open is the dumbest possible thing that we could be doing. We have sleeper cells in the United States confirmed. How do we know? Because they're literally taking selfies in all major cities with their flag and they're sending them out on social media. It's so far past what the breaking point should have been. But I think it's the people here, we're so dumb. We've become so dumb. We've become so brainwashed. We've become so almost illiterate in a literal sense, and definitely illiterate in a rational sense. And I think it just really took that long. I think it took some dramatic things happening for all of the zombies to wake up and be like, oh shit, that's not good. This doesn't look good. Like, no, it does not look good. So any more tax? Nope. Texas is who's really in charge in America. I agree. I think the Texas government should just become the new federal government, and DC can just burn, metaphorically. We the people should be way past tired of this crap. It's Americans last. Pretty sure that's the CIA and the other secret society alphabet agencies. Who's the CIA? I forgot what I said. I ranted for a minute. But I think so, man. I think the Texas government should just take over. Texas becomes the new, the new capital. And the Texas government I have no problem. I will submit to the Texas government. I have absolutely no problem with that. All right, we'll begin to wrap things up here. How did that happen? What? Oh, because I'm in the wrong channel. Never mind. Rich, if you're here, good to see you. Hey, Clear Kills. Are you in Discord, or did you come from Instagram or something? All right, Ghost got us one of these bad boys. The U.S. media industry is in meltdown. 2023 was the worst year for the news business since the pandemic. It's a sharp... Media companies have slashed over 20,000 jobs in 2023 media layoffs. CBC cuts 10% of workforce. Media layoffs top 3,000 in past year as digital ads disappear. Sports Illustrated facing mass layoffs, clouding future for iconic sports media brand. Yeah, I wish you would have used a different picture, because the story behind Sports Illustrated is that, and I mean zero offense by this at all, I'm being very professional about this, Sports Illustrated has always been having very fit people on the cover. That's what it's always been. You could objectively say that beauty and sexuality, in a general sense, if you aggregate all of society, it is relatively objective. Things like symmetry. The more people than 50%, making the majority, believe things like symmetry make you attractive. Just like more than 50% of men are drawn to women with a chest that looks a certain way, or hips and a butt that looks a certain way. And girls, the same thing for men with broad shoulders and a big chest. So objective. That being said, what happened with Sports Illustrated is they did what everybody's doing. They put trans people on the cover. They put men in bikinis with bulges in their magazines. Sports Illustrated was a magazine that men got. Because one, it is sports, and two, they were very smart and filled it full of very attractive women. Well, now it's men in bikinis, and men don't want to read that shit. So they stopped buying it. Beyond that, they started doing what Nike did and taking incredibly unfit people, not normal unfit. Normal unfit is like, yeah, you got a little bit of fat on your stomach, your thighs, whatever, like, cool. That's normal. You look normal. You're hot still. But if you take a 400-pound woman who has no business being on a Sports Illustrated magazine and put her on the Sports Illustrated magazine, or a 400-pound guy, doesn't matter. It is not going to sell. And that's exactly what they did. And now they're screwed. Nielsen to move scores of U.S. jobs overseas amidst new round of layoffs. I hadn't seen that one. The media is collapsing. Business Insider laying off 8% of staff. Wall Street Journal shake up DC bureau with big layoffs. Over 500 journalists were laid off in January of 24 alone. Wow. Layoffs hit Condé Nast and Vox Media. Time Magazine announces layoffs. The news about the news business is getting grimmer. From the Times. Journalism bloodbath 2024 kicks off with numerous media layoffs, labor issues. Media layoffs. How are journalists supposed to make ends meet anymore? The media is melting down, and neither billionaires nor journalists can seem to stop it. Is American journalism head towards an extinction level event? It really is true though. The mainstream media is just collapsing. Because even people like my dad, who, you know, grew up on CNN and MSNBC and Fox News, like now he's like, no, I just listen to Fox. I don't listen to anything else anymore. And if I do, like, I know it's all bullshit. I'm like, cool. But I've showed him other like independent media, and he's at least interested by it, which is, you know, it's not perfect, but it's better than what it normally is. So I think even the older generations, which is something like 70 to 80% of the people who watch mainstream media, if we can shift even half of them or less, 30% of them away and into independent media, it will completely collapse. The only thing that will keep them going is big pharma. Pharma and the media are just, they're basically just handing money back and forth perpetually through ads on TV, through talking about the drugs on the news. It's this cyclical cycle of money going from pharma, lobby, media, lobby, pharma. And it just keeps going in a freaking insanity circle. I think it'll die though. You've got all this independent media where they're doing subscription services, and people have no problem paying $10 a month to get news that they believe is accurate, or at least truthfully attempted to be accurate. I pay it, no problem, because if you're going to spend your time learning about politics or what's going on in society, or you want to at least know, like, the people are trying to give you the most accurate information available. Even if it's biased based on their personal opinion, they're at least being mostly truthful. With the actual media, you know, it's absolute bullshit. All of it is complete trash. I watch News Nation. Okay, the one that I give to older people is Redacted. I don't know who knows about Redacted, but Redacted is a husband and wife. It's on YouTube. I think they're 3 p.m. Central Time every weekday. But it's a husband and wife, probably in their 40s. They're very chill. They're very tone. It's very professional. But when I've tried to get older people, the older generations, into independent media, I always give out Redacted because they're more their speed. I listen to Redacted. I like them a lot. They're goofy. They're quirky. They're like, it's just like, it's cute. They're cute. Lee Camp. Whoa. I actually don't. No. So this is Lee Camp. Dangerous Ideas with Lee Camp. I don't. I'll watch them. I haven't watched them before. But Redacted is good. If you have a heart, if you have somebody who's transitioning out of mainstream media, Redacted is a very good place to start because it's got a very mainstream vibe to it. But they're very much not. They're very much not. But the whole, just the concept of independent media where this is possible, and you have, there's more of a burden to be accurate and to be honest and to do journalism intelligently. It's blown up for a reason. COVID really, if COVID was their plan to gain control, I think in a way they really effed up, like pretty bad. I think they underestimated how many people would turn on it, how many people would be able to see through it and be like, oh, that's bullshit. Can't do it. That's bullshit. I think a lot of people took a little bit too long, but I think a dramatic amount of people were very much woken up during the vid. Touch grass, as the kids say. I think if people quit watching the news and just go outside, most of the problems would fix itself. Atlas News is pretty good sometimes. I have not watched that. I'll look at that too. Spend time with your loved ones. Throw the TV and the iPad away. I thought he was redacted. I am mixing up my pen. Oh, pendants. Yeah, no, different guy. Oh, hey, Kat, I decided to go to Matt Rife by myself since my wife wouldn't go with me. Why would she not go with you? You guys need to go to counseling. Why would she not go to see Matt Rife? TikTok, go to YouTube. You can't see anything over there, my friends. All right, was there anything else in the Discord? No. All right, well, I mean, we're almost 2 hours in. So, I mean, we'll hang out for a minute, but just a heads up, I changed a lot in Discord. If you're watching this later as a recording, and you're here for news, you can bail now. We're kind of just going to hang out at this point and get off in a few minutes. But I changed a lot in Discord. So if you notice anything, like Lilith, I believe it was Lilith, who had a problem where she had a role removed and could no longer see something. I didn't do that, but I mean, maybe I did. I don't know. But I'm doing a lot of stuff in Discord right now. So if you notice anything isn't working right, or it doesn't look right, or anything at all, please just go into off topic, tag me or tag Ghost, because I'm not able to see everything all the time. Tag one of us and then he'll let me know. So I can look at it. And if you do experience something, try to screenshot it if you can and get it to me. The back end of the Discord was set up using a third-party program that I'm somewhat familiar with, but not very. And it was set up really, really smart by Sarah, who was phenomenal. She was amazing with it. I am not. So I'm going through, I'm learning, I'm watching tutorials, like I'm trying to get my grip on it. And then I'm trying to clean things up and make things work a little different on some ends. So just be aware of that. Keep an eye out for it if you could, and just make me aware if you see anything that, goes terribly wrong. Matt Rife looks and talks like a fit Ralphie May. That's true. She doesn't want to spend $270 for tickets. Oh, Jesus. I don't blame her. Yeah, no way. He is super funny though. Yeah. Everybody skips Memphis. Why? Just because it's Memphis? I figured that'd be big for comedy. Let us know how the show goes. He's a great joke writer. Yeah, he's phenomenal. He's phenomenal. I mean, he's good off the cuff, man. It's very impressive. It's super impressive to watch that guy work. And I like to believe that he doesn't use plants ever. I like to believe that. I'm a very skeptical, cynical guy, but I do like to believe that. DJ Paul and Juicy J got him scared. What happened with DJ Paul and Juicy J? I didn't know those were real people. Did something happen in Memphis? Google is not giving me anything of any use here. 3 years ago? Yeah, it sucks. Memphis just sucks. Nobody comes here. They skip us and go to Nashville or Tennessee. Ah, that's true. Yeah, Nashville and Atlanta would probably get them, huh? They're from Memphis. 3-6 Mafia. Yeah, see, I was never big on 3-6. I mean, I listened to them. I didn't really care, though. Dude, I was like an Atmosphere, Brother Ali, Slug. I was a very different end of hip-hop growing up. That was my stuff. 3-6 Mafia was not my jam. I respect it, but I was very much I mean, I probably listened to 80% Atmosphere only growing up. But then there was the Brother Ali and some Slug and some other stuff in there too. But yes, conscious. It's all I can tolerate. I rode city buses for 3 to 4 hours a day as a kid going to school, from the suburbs to the city, because my dad lived in the city, and I just like half my childhood was like big headphones on, eyes closed on a city bus going transfer to transfer and just listening to Atmosphere. That was my thing. And now I can't really listen to anything else. I still listen to almost like only the music I used to listen to when I was a kid. You Got It Goes, Crime, and No Money to Pay the Big Actors. YouTube always cuts it off. To pay the big acts. Yeah, that makes sense. 8-Ball and MJG. There's a lot of good like old 90s stuff, man. Like Atmosphere now though, it's awful. He's awful. It's so terrible. I haven't been able to listen to Atmosphere probably since like his music from like early 2000 teens. He just put out another album and it's terrible. You can tell all he does is magic mushrooms now. The whole album is about magic mushrooms. That's it. From the artwork to the way it's the way it was produced to the lyrics, it's just all about tripping, which is like fine. I'm sure people who trip all the time are like, this is the greatest thing ever. But I was just very disappointed. Chattanooga will be Memphis 2.0 before long. Chattanooga. It's bad out there now. It's getting bad out there in those parts. The only rapper I listen to is Lil Windex. Please don't tell me that's a real thing. Here's the thing, dude. You can't joke like that because you know for a fucking fact there is some dude with his hair all weird and weird stuff in his teeth who calls himself Lil Dex. Lil Dex, Lil Windex. Some rapper got Trump tattooed on his thigh. That was I was just listening to somebody talk about this. Was it Nas? Was it Nas that got the Trump tattoo? Lil Pump. It was Lil Pump. LP. Let's see. Is that it? That's not Lil Pump. That's some white bow hunter. There it is. Oh, he got Trump with Trump's face blasted with tattoos. I've never seen that. It says self-made, MAGA, 2020. He's got a Bitcoin tattoo on his forehead. Oh no, he's got a goat on his left cheek. Boss status. That's wild. Who got White Lives Matter? Bandman Kivo? Who's that? Who's Bandman Kivo? I'm intrigued now. Musical artist. What does he do? What do you do, Bandman Kivo? Let's take a little peek-see here. Oh, Jesus, God help me. Oh, I probably can't play this. Sorry, I gotta shut it off. So I guess this guy has a White Lives Matter tattoo. That's rather interesting. Whoa. Check out Coast Contra. I'll check it out. Lil Windex is 100% real. I mean, here's the thing. Like, I know because that sounds like it is. But are you serious that you love him? Is he really your jam? Jesus Christ, Lil Windex. That's wild. Is he actually good though? Like, I can get over how a dude looks if he's actually good. Honestly, I only listen to metal. Okay. Well, I mean, that makes perfect sense. I don't know any of these people. I just saw the news on the gram. So he's like Lil Dicky, because Lil Dicky's good stuff. Lil Dicky was real good stuff. Kat and I's initial relationship was built around me making total fun of her for listening to the song Lil Dicky. I thought she was so dumb. I thought it was the dumbest thing ever. I was very egotistical and very much a dick about it. And then and then years later, I'm like, this is actually pretty damn good and really, really funny. I don't know why I was such an asshole about it when she first showed me. Been jamming to Confessions of a Traitor lately. They're good. Who's is it not August Burns Red? I always mix up this screamo band with this this other like acoustic band. God, I can't remember. True. Yeah, it's true. I was an asshole about it. British Christian metal band. Oh, interesting. I'll look at it. I'll take a peek. All right, y'all. I'm gonna call it a night. I'm gonna call it a night. We've got Bible study tomorrow, my friends, and we are moving to the next book, 1 Corinthians, which I think we've done like twice this year. But honestly, I don't want to mess up the order, so we're gonna do it again. And really, it's one of the most quoted epistles. It's commonly used, so it's it can't hurt to go through it again. So we're gonna hit it again. Striper, I'll look at Striper Graves. Take a peek, see. So Bible study tomorrow, 6 p.m. Central Time. And then I'm deciding on how to post the poll for Thursday. So as soon as I figure out the options, then I will post that. And then we'll get moving on it. Let me know if anything is messed up in Discord. Please, please, please. Because I've been changing a lot of stuff. So please let me know. All right, y'all. Love you, love you.